How tapped in are you on all the youth initiatives and strategies that government has been putting out recently? This is HTO, How Things Operate, and today we're talking government youth initiatives, the challenges, the similarities, and the differences. So in recent days, you would have heard about the Bermuda Youth Employment Strategy that was put out by Minister of Economy and Labour, Jason Hayward. But back in November, you would have also heard about the Bermuda National Youth Policy, which was put out by the Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, Dr. Ernest Peets. So first, let's talk about the goals of each. Yes, Youth Employment Strategy is working toward increasing jobs on the island for Bermuda's youth. The National Youth Policy is to help to support, engage, and empower Bermuda's youth. Okay, so before we go over some of the similarities and the differences, here's some facts that you should know as well. First off, in the Bermuda Youth Policy, they actually have put out statistics from the Labour Survey from 2019 that showed that there was actually 23.8% of unemployment for young Bermudians between the age of 16 and 24. Now, you would have saw recently that I had posted about the new stat, which was 32.1% of Bermudians between the age of 16 and 24 were unemployed. So within that 1 year gap, that was almost like a 10% increase. So according to the Minister of Economy and Labour, these are the reasons why there are not enough job opportunities or why there is such a high increase of unemployment with young people in Bermuda. Number one, a lack of job opportunities for young people. Two, lacking the experience required by employers, limited access to resources, lack of opportunities for less experienced job seekers, career choice uncertainty, and holding qualifications and skill sets that do not meet the needs of employers. That one is very similar to lacking the experience required by employers. Another important fact to note for this conversation is that since 2018, we have consistently had more deaths than births in Bermuda. Just in 2020 alone, the number of deaths in Bermuda was 566, and the number of births in Bermuda was 540. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some of the similarities. So I wrote them out here for you guys to see, and these are basically the points and goals for the YES Youth Employment Strategy and the points and goals for the National Youth Policy. So let's talk about similarities. First one, the first goal for the Youth Employment Strategy is quite similar to the fourth goal for the NYP. I'll let you read it, you can pause it as well as we go along. The next one, they aim to increase access to young people's transitioning into the workplace by expanding career support, and over on the other side, achieve full potential in learning, development, and education. You can go deeper into finding out more about each one on each platform, but this is just to let you know how similar they are, that you could actually check on them themselves. The next one up, goal number 7, quite similar to goal number 8, and the last, goal number 8, is quite similar to goal number 7. The difference here though that I will say is quite prominent is that the goal number 8 in the Youth Employment Strategy does not say anything about actually engaging the young people in helping to make these new rules, whereas in the National Youth Policy, they specifically say that they are going to have young people helping to change the laws to make work experiences, job experiences, or just life altogether easier for young Bermudians. So now let's talk about some of the differences. The differences, as I mentioned, in the Bermuda Youth Policy, something that stood out to me a lot was that they have a passage in there specifically for accountability. Now, it's going to be an annual report, so we won't be getting the statistics for some time. It was released in November, the press release was in February of 2022, so we're probably looking at November of 2022 or February of 2023, in between that time frame, when they'll have some statistics to show for what they've been doing throughout the year. Again, they're still quite new, as is the new Youth Employment Strategy as well. But what's also different from the NYP versus the YES is that the NYP showed on their page and the platform the people who are within the working group that they have selected, so you can actually go through that list yourself and actually have names accountable to speak to in regards to the policies and what's actually being taken place and what's being done. Whether in the Youth Employment Strategy is still brand new, and the only person that was there at the press release was the minister himself, so there wasn't really a large group that was with him that stood firm on all of these strategies and policies to work with. So that's a difference as well within the two. So that's a quick snippet about the new youth initiatives that are being taken place. What you want to also consider is how the education reform actually reflects on both of them, because all three of them hope to have some sort of entrepreneurship or tutelage or something put into the schools to help young people figure out what they want to get into, or even just to have those extra experiences and lessons brought in by other people while they're still in school. So all three of them have that specific goal. So it's hopeful that they're not overlapping, but hopeful that maybe they're actually being able to reach out to more than one group to get as much people on board to this as possible. And lastly, I was asked, how do we as a youth kind of connect with everyone who are making these policies? Again, we saw that the National Youth Policy had a name and a list of people that we can obviously reach out to, but to only have the Minister of Labour or even just the Ministry of Economy and Labour themselves without really having a name other than the Minister of Labour to contact to for, you know, giving input on all this information, it's a little bit hard to actually get the statistics and the surveys that actually help to make these goals a reality. In the Minister of Labour, Jason Hayward's statement, he also said that they're going to try to connect with the young students who are, you know, in university now to try to see what they need or what they want in order to keep them here home on the island. They also want to try to reach out to people in England right now who are off the island and try to see what benefits they would actually want to actually come back to the island. So those are things that they're actually thinking of in this initiative right now. So they're trying to figure out a way to get Bermudians back home. But if we don't have an actual pathway of communication to tell everyone what we actually need to get back home, it's a little bit more difficult to actually make that a thing. So who do we contact, who do we get in touch with when we have requests as to what would actually be beneficial for us to change to make these things a reality? Lastly, I just want to ask you guys, do you believe that all this is communicative, performative, or things that are actually being put in place and you see actual action taking place? Again, I don't think we'll know this until the Bermuda National Youth Policy actually puts out their annual stats to show us what they've been doing and what they're up to. Just stand by for that and see if they actually have any updates put out recently as well. And that's the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been HTO, How Things Operate. We're talking government youth initiatives that have been brought out, rolled out, and their similarities, their differences, and their challenges as well.